Hi, all you cats and kittens. I'll tell you what, this lady's a whack job. Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here for another great edition of The Reviews. This should be a really good one because this is Tiger King. I don't know if you heard of the show Tiger King, but I'm going to get into this whole show, and boy is it a doozy. But just make sure before we even start, you check out our member programs, both on Patreon and on YouTube. There's different levels on Patreon, and check in all the links below from Instagram to Facebook. Let me jump right into this show. Man, if this show hasn't made you start thinking these wacko people around the world. First of all, let me give you a little premise of the show if you haven't heard about the show. The show is about a exotic zoo and a character named Joe Exotic who owns a zoo in Oklahoma, and it's a big cat zoo. Like, you know, they have tigers and lions and stuff like that. And this guy is a doozy, man. I'm telling you. If you haven't seen the show, it's on Netflix. You gotta watch it. It's 7 episodes. It's a miniseries, and it's really good. But it's sick, you know. Listen, when I saw this thing, I kept thinking, one, you know I love cats. Everybody knows I have 2 cats. So I love cats, and I can't stand what's going on with this zoo and how they abused and how this guy, Joe Exotic, literally killed tigers for no reason at all. Matter of fact, a lady at the last episode, when they did what they call a follow-up episode, so they interviewed all the cast members, and I'll tell you what, you know, I'm telling you, if you want to talk about a collective IQ of I don't know how low, just check this show out. And the premise of the show is this crazy guy who owns a zoo. His name is Joe Maldonado or Joe Exotica is what he calls himself. And he has a mullet hairdo. He's blonde with a cut here and a mullet down the thing, and he's gay. So here he is, he's gay, and he has, check this out, 2 husbands. Yeah, 2 husbands. So, you know, to give you even, I'm going to jump around a lot on the show. Joe Exotic is in jail. He ended up getting a 22-year or a 24-year sentence for trying to hire a hit person to kill his competition, I guess, or a lady he hated named Carol Baskins, which I'm going to get into Carol Baskins in a minute. But so he gets sentenced on that, and also for killing, I guess, animal abuse. And he's in a federal jail. He's actually, I looked him up, he's in Fort Worth, Texas, is a medical facility. It's a federal place, and he's in that place. And I don't know why he's in the medical place. I don't know what's wrong with him that he needs to be in that medical place. I think he's only about 52 years old. But what a wacko. He used to walk around with a gun on his hip like he's some kind of big shot. He ran. Listen to you how messed up Oklahoma is. Nothing against you Oklahoma fans here, but here they got a wacko zoo. This guy ran for the mayor.
Political condoms. Vote for me or you need this because you're screwed.
Listen, this guy ran for the mayor. I mean, a legit thing, campaign stops, had a limousine. His campaign manager was probably the sharpest guy at the whole entire show, a guy named Joshua Dial. And this whole entire, listen, the show is just so crazy. So let me go into the show. So the show is based around this guy, Joe Exotic, who owns this big cat place. And he's in a feuding war with this lady named Carol Baskins.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol at Big Cat Rescue.
Of course, it's got to be Florida again. And this lady is no bargain. Let me give you this lady. First of all, I think this Big Cat Rescue is a bunch of bullshit. I think she's no different than these zoos that are really abusing these animals. She's no different, this lady. I also believe, after watching this show, she killed her husband, Don Lewis.
Killed her husband, whacked him.
They were about to get a divorce. He even served her with a restraining order, and all of a sudden he disappears. Never seen again. Obviously, a lot of people think she fed him to the lions, and literally fed him to the lions and tigers. And I believe it. I really do. In this case, I believe it. Of course, I have no evidence against that. I hope the cops are smart and they're figuring things out. But this lady is some piece of works. And even her husband Harry, or what's his name? Howard Baskin. You want to talk about two weird dudes? Listen, this lady has this big thing called the Big Cat Rescue. And she goes, "Hi, all you cats and kittens." I'll tell you what, this lady's a whack job. This lady is no better than any of them. And they have another guy who has a cat rescue, or a cat sanctuary, they call him. And he's a guy named Doc Antler out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Check his story out. He's got 3 wives. This guy, Joe Exotic's got 2 gay husbands. So you want to talk about being a little bit of whack jobs and all of this? Oh my God. So then you have the one husband, again, named John Finley. Now, he's on the show. They got him out there. No teeth. He's always on no shirt on. And I don't know how these guys, think it was okay to let their images go like this. But I did see him on the after show. Now this guy had his teeth. He looked normal. And now he's got a girlfriend. So I don't know if he was just gay for the show, but then he married this guy, Joe Exotic, and this guy, Joe Exotic, had another husband, which is really a sad case, named Travis Maldonado, and Travis ended up killing himself. Well, he mistakenly, on the show, you got to see this, on the show, I'm not sure exactly what episode, maybe episode 4, he blew his brains out. He was playing with a gun in front of the campaign manager, and he literally shot himself and killed himself right on the show. So this is pretty wild. This is all true. They followed these guys around. This producer named Rick Kirkheim, who was also with, he said on this show that he founded Inside Edition. He didn't found Inside Edition. I found that out by some friends of mine I know in the industry. And he was part of it, but he wasn't the founder of it. But anyway, this guy started out filming this guy, Joe, thinking I would have a great series out of it. But in my mind, he becomes part of the problem because he just sold his soul. Listen, if I was there, and this guy at the last show gets with Joel McHale, this guy, Kirkenham, or whatever his name, what's his name? Kirkham, says, he even admits that he let his soul go because what he saw this guy Joe Exotic do. This guy Joe Exotic took a horse from a lady, and the lady was crying, said, "Listen, I know you have a sanctuary here. Can you?" And Joe accepted the horse with loving arms. "Oh, we'll take care of the horse, do everything." And you know what he did? He shot the horse the minute she left and fed the horse to the animals, to the tigers. Trust me, I understand how things go with feeding of animals and the nature of that. But don't do that and tell the lady the horse is going to be in great hands or whatever. It's going to live its life out or whatever it is. Just say, "Hey, listen, we don't do that here. We're going to use it for cat meat. And, horse meat is horse meat." So it would have been, in my mind, okay at that point. But, I love animals. But I understand the structure of animals, if you want to call it, of the hierarchy of animals. But this show just blew me away. That's why I'm doing this, because the weirdness of this whole show, how these people actually got together, how they, I'll tell you what, I got to give the docuseries people a lot of credit, how they put this show together. And it's the #1 hit on Netflix. It is the #1 show on Netflix, so you have to watch it if you haven't watched it. And they have a character in there, a bunch of characters. They have another guy, Joe meets, because Joe's whole goal is to take down this Carol Baskins, who's with Big Cat Rescue, who's trying to shut these places down. But again, in my eyes, she's no different than these guys themselves. No different at all. None. Zero. She does everything that I don't think you should be doing with big cats or anything like that. But she's part of the problem. And her husband, weird people. And I do believe she killed her husband, Don Lewis. I really do. And now, anyway, so this guy Joe is, when I say obsessed with getting this lady, there's no doubt this guy did what he did. To be honest, do I think he deserves that much time in prison? I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't like what he did to the animals. I don't know how serious this of the hiring the hit person to kill Carol Baskins really was. and I've seen a lot less on that. I've seen guys go to prison for 10 years on that, and I've been in prison with people who did 10 years on they call him a hitman for hire. I don't think that he deserved 20 X amount of years. Did he deserve prison? Absolutely. And a part of why I'm doing this show is people ask me, what do I think is happening to him in prison now? First of all, I always tell you people, prison is not a great place for gay people. You know, you think, oh, I got all these gay guys, I got these nice guys I could look at and stuff. Absolutely not. Prison is about rape, dominance, and abuse. I mean, do you think he's going to want to get sexually abused in there? I think he's trying to manipulate people, which doesn't work, and somebody's going to take him. He's being abused. He is paying somebody to be the husband or the wife of some dude in prison right now. He is paying for commissary for somebody in prison right now. He is paying for that. He is paying, and he's blowing people, getting fucked. Whatever's happening in prison, it's happening to this guy, Joe Exotic, and he's not liking it because he can't get out of it. He can't come, oh, I'm done with you. Doesn't work like that. He will end up being in the hole and getting transferred. I don't know why this guy, Joe Exotic, is in a medical facility at this point. And that's more, I might research that a little bit more and find out why he is in a medical facility. If somebody knows, they can let me know as well. Listen to me. I looked at this guy, and if he came to my prison, I don't know. I would have shook this guy down. I would have did something because I don't like what he did. I don't like what he did with the animals. And I don't know how he's spinning it in there. But I can guarantee you right now, the people in there know the true story. And they know the whole story. And they're reading paperwork too. Somebody's reading legal work. Because he went to prison in 2019. So he's not in prison a long time. But they're already reading his paperwork. And he's trying to hide it. And stuff of that nature. And then it's not going to work. Then you got a guy in, I think, episode 4 or something, who comes along, and he's another major scumbag, a guy named Jeff Lowe. He's supposedly a big investor, and he's coming in to help Joe out, because it takes a lot of money to run these places, because just think of the amount of food you got to get to feed these animals. It's just crazy. Well, anyway, this guy, Jeff Lowe, comes in, and he's got a bandana and a hat. Boy, what a scumbag. And not only do we figure out later that he is a scumbag, he's supposedly this tough guy, and he's not even close to being a tough guy. And what does he do? He screws Joe, and he screws his next partner, they find out. He screws the next guy he goes into business with, and he screws that guy. There's another guy in it, a fat guy, another scumbag, turns informant and tells on Joe about his whole thing just because he got pissed off about some bullcrap. His name is James Garrison, and he was the rat on the case, And like I said, you know how I believe it. I don't believe in rats. And in this case, I don't know if it's really ratting to talk about somebody still abusing these animals. Listen, from this guy Howard Kirkbaum and all of these guys that I'm reading about and talking about, from John Rentke, who is the manager of this facility, and Eric Cow, who's the head keeper, they all come off like, oh, Joe's a bad guy, Joe's this. You knew what Joe was doing. You let it happen. You didn't report it to the authorities. Let me tell you something. If I was around a guy like that, Joe, I'd have beat the shit out of that guy. I'd have beat the shit out of that guy. I'm telling you. That guy pissed me off what he did to animals that had no business being abused, these animals. Zero. They didn't hurt a soul. These animals were born, and they bred them, and they sold them to people. I mean, to learn about big cats in the United States and pretty much around the world, how it works, it's pretty interesting. So you'll understand, the laws that were passed, but you'll understand how they're out there. They're in your community. Tigers are in your community. And it's kind of weird, but, they have these rescues. Florida has a few of them. And, again, Florida's the wacko. This big cat rescue is in Tampa. I want to go over there just to look in this lady's face and say, you're a scumbag. because I won't give her money though. She married this rich guy who was going to divorce her, and then she killed him. In my mind, she killed him, and that's just, again, this is my review. I'm telling it as it is and how I believe it happened. And I'm looking at all these characters in this thing. They had a kid named Dylan Passage, who was Joe. Okay, Joe was married to two guys. He was married to this guy John Finley and the kid Travis, who, that was a three-way marriage, a gay marriage. Travis accidentally killed himself on the show with a bullet in the head. Unbelievable. 2 months after Travis dies, now this guy Travis was a young, hot-looking guy. This is what this guy Joe Exotic got. Hot young guys with nice bodies and whatever he did. You know, I don't know how he got to these kids, but this is what he did. And then there's a guy named Dylan Passage, who's his husband to this day. And I just read about him online. He is still married. As of April 15th, they did an interview with him, and he said he's sticking with Joe. You know, I got to give this kid credit. To be totally honest, forget the marriage issue. I mean, I don't have any. I don't care what people do with themselves. This is 2020. But he's actually sticking with the dude after he went to prison. You know what? I give him a lot of credit. I really do. I give him credit. And here's another young, hot-looking guy, and what does he do? He marries this guy, Joe Exotic. Again, I can't figure it out, but that's what it is. You got a lady on this show. Well, this is a great one. I didn't know if it was a lady or guy until I watched the after show. Her name is Kelsey Safri. She's, I guess, they call it transgender, where I don't even know what it's called when you're a girl but you're trying to act like a guy, or you're a guy acting like a girl, whatever those things are. This is all in this show. This is like a misfit camp. And please, I don't want anybody to email me saying, oh, you're looking down on people. I don't. I'm the last dude that looks down on anybody. I could care less who you have sex with, who your partner is. If you're happy, have fun. I really believe that. I don't judge anybody. We all have our own skeletons in our closet. As I say, what goes on in prison stays in prison. But no, seriously, these people are all like this. The head guy, the zoo manager, he's got no legs. I think he lost his legs in a motocross accident or something like that. The one girl guy, I guess she's really a girl but acts like a guy, literally on the show lost her arm to a tiger, put the arm in the tiger cage, and they ripped the arm off, and has a stub. I mean, this is all real. This shit is real. It's weird, man, but it is real. Then you got a guy, I'm telling you again, no teeth, long hair, Eric Crows, the head keeper. And here's the guys I look at, and they try to say, oh, what do you think of Joe's a bad guy, this is a bad guy. You knew what was going on. I always say this in my videos, and I say this with young people, and I say this with police departments. They all know who the bad apples are and what's really going on in their police departments. Well, you know what? Everybody on this show knew what was going on. They all knew the back scene of what was going on. You can't tell me they didn't know this guy Joe Exotic was abusing these animals. Bullshit. They knew it, and they did nothing about it. Nothing about it. So I have no, they just were getting there and they were misfits. Well, what are you, misfits, and you're going to let animals just get beaten? I respect that homeless guy who's got that dog and he takes care of that dog. So don't come off like, oh, they had no way out. All of this is sick. It's getting me actually kind of a little upset. People ask me all the time, is the show worth watching? I gotta say yes. Just to show you how good your life is. Just to show you how normal you are. And listen, we all have our quirks. We all have our skeletons in our closet. This crew's got theirs for sure. And they're out to everybody to see. I want you to watch the show. Not for any reason. I have nothing to do with the show. But I want you to watch it. And I want you to tell me what you think about it. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base on this show. Go check it out. I like doing these reviews because it make me think about my life and how good my life is. and how much I appreciate all you people out there as being supportive of what I do. Thank you very much. Prison reform is coming. Don't give up on people, please, who make their mistakes. There are people in prison, and I'm not talking to Joe Exotics. I don't know what he's doing, but I hope he changed his ways, and maybe he did. Sometimes it takes that. But listen, don't give up on your loved ones out there, everybody. Just don't do it. Thanks for your support. Please check out all the links below. Check out all we're doing, our stuff, the members, and put this video in a playlist of yours. So, make playlists, pass them around. Watch all our videos. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and pass the word. We're looking to get to that 1 million subscriber mark. That's our goal, our next goal. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate your support. Wouldn't be where we were without you. Have a great day. Stay strong. Stay healthy. Have a good day.